My name is Brandon Rhodes. Rolling Oasis Grocers is a Lents grown business. Rolling Oasis Grocers delivers affordable and organic produce to people's homes all throughout the Lents neighborhood of Portland by bicycle once a week. I got started over some tacos for lunch with my friend Scott Davison, who works for a nonprofit called Vocoform, which does vocational formation among young youth and young adults from at-risk populations. And he's always running great business ideas by me that aren't great enough for me, evidently. Ones that always were too intimidating for me to start up, and that always have to do with the neighborhood. He mentioned this idea, and it came at a time when I was between jobs, and it checked a lot of the boxes of what I want in a job. I love being able to work in my neighborhood, work with food, be outside getting some exercise, and it's a business that is a common good business. It's it's enriching people's lives. It's advancing the common good throughout the neighborhood rather than just making me money. It helps me pay the bills, but it's also about making this a better place to live for everybody. Before I was with Rolling Oasis, I worked with a group called the Parish Collective, which is a nonprofit network across North America, mostly in the Northwest, that links neighborhood-rooted churches. So wherever there's a church, a group of people working to weave a fabric of love and care in a neighborhood, I was helping document that. In fact, doing some of the same stuff with camera work and writing a lot of essays online. What did I have in mind when I started Rolling Oasis Grocers? I knew that, so I've lived in this neighborhood for, 6 years now, and we're a neighborhood that doesn't have a grocery store, and I've never had a car in those 6 years. So it's always been a chore for me to be able to get my groceries. If you just use a bicycle or public transportation, it's not that convenient in this neighborhood. To a degree, we are what some people call a food desert, which means there's no easy access to fresh food. There might be corner stores where you can get Pepsi and corn nuts, but we cannot live on corn nuts alone. So you have to have real food too. So I knew, having lived in the neighborhood for a long time, how hard it was to feed myself or how inconvenient it could be. So Rolling Oasis is born out of that desire to make it easier to get people food in this food desert. So we're an oasis in the food desert. And I want to be able to make that affordable for people as well. We're a lower income neighborhood, but almost one in 5 households in this neighborhood does not have a car, which in other parts of Portland, that would be like a really cool thing. But here it's got a little bit more to do with class issues and economic injustice. So this is addressing economic injustice as well, in a small way. It's making it easier to live without a car or using a car less. My cultural background is not much of one. I grew up in the suburbs out in the Hillsborough and Beaverton area. Grew up going to a mega church out there and playing video games, and that's about it. I was kind of just like a typical American kid, I guess. But I got really involved in political work in high school and then into college. Yeah, I spent most of my 20s working both in environmental organizations as well as in various ways helping connect intentional Christian communities to each other and tell their stories of caring for each other and their neighborhoods. So what cultural background I do have outside of suburban culture would be kind of the hippie end of the Christian spectrum and being able to play around in those circles. How does my cultural background affect my business? Well, the suburbia part is pretty easy. you can't really live too easily without a car in suburbia, and you sure can't walk to get your produce or your groceries out there either. I wouldn't say my neighborhood is the suburbs, but we do have a lot in common there. So I grew up riding my bike around the neighborhood, but never getting, food outside of like a 20 ounce of Pepsi. So I chose the color green to be all over the business because we're a green business. I deliver fruits and vegetables. I'm using a bicycle, and frankly, I like the color green. The values that are reflected in my business are neighborliness. This is like, I live in this neighborhood. This is for my neighbors. It reflects equity. So making sure that as this business expands, when new routes open up in other neighborhoods and other parts of Lents, that the people who are able to open up their own route are going to be people who maybe haven't necessarily always had easy access to starting up a business. It's about, another value would be honoring the earth, sustainability, making sure that we're getting as much local stuff as we can. I want to be delivering all organic produce because the bottom line of businesses isn't just money. It's not just money made today. It's how are we taking care of the land that produced all that stuff that we've turned into money, kind of, So taking care of it into the future. The biggest challenge I've had operating Rolling Oasis Grocers has been all the little things you have to learn with just starting up a business. I've never started up anything, so learning all the paperwork you have to get going, and of choosing what's the best trailer, what's the best bag to deliver with, what's the best place to sort out the produce, and who am I buying from. I'm doing all this from scratch, so that felt really overwhelming initially, but it became really fulfilling as things came together. I think the next big challenge is I'm a business that doesn't have a storefront. So this is not a place that people begin to see as they drive past a certain area. So people don't necessarily know about it. The challenge ahead is, how do people come to know about the business and get excited about trying it out just based on seeing a bike around the neighborhood once a week. My hope for the future is to see Rolling Oasis expand and thrive in this neighborhood, and then begin new routes in other neighborhoods, especially other food deserts or food insecure neighborhoods. So towards that end, you can expect that another Rolling Oasis delivery route will begin through Vocoform in the Arbor Lodge neighborhood of Portland. And I'm betting by the end of the year, you'll see another route open up here in this neighborhood. We believe this is a really scalable business that can continue to serve more and more people and create living wage jobs for folks already in the neighborhood.